So without further ado, let's just get into it. Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show by Marketing Profs and the Marketing Smarts podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much, much more each and every week. Hey, if you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, grab a beverage, a notepad, or at least some style of writing utensil, and welcome to the show. It's framed as a discussion about business communication, but this week's conversation and all the wisdom and banter contained therein, well, ladies and gentlemen, it could pertain to all walks of life, personal and professional. And if you want to do marketing right, Steve Multer says you've got to get personal anyway. Start with a human to create the connection first before you move to content, data, support, or arguments. If you start with here is what we do, here is how we do it, and here's why we do it, you're marketing wrong, says Steve. Ooh, I'm telling you, you should check out that original podcast episode. You start with the why, then you go to the how, and then the what is last. Communication is about reaching the human, and a big part of being human is making mistakes and humbling yourself. Steve says, I'm a big fan of negative stories, of talking about where I've failed, where I've screwed up something so badly, because it makes me human. It makes me fallible, just like them. It proves I have messed up so many times. That and more in this episode of the Marketing Smarts Live show. Hello to all my Marketing Smarts Live viewers today. I'm super excited to bring you episode 47 of the Marketing Smarts Live show. This week's topic is all about the 3 pillars of winning communication. The 3 pillars: value, passion, and connection. So if you're ready to get your learn on, buckle up. Let's get ready to, I need to get sound effects, rock and roll. Hey, I'm George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and the host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts Live show, as well as the Marketing Smarts podcast, found on your favorite podcast app. Our guest clips today are brought to you by none other, the man, the myth, the legend, Steve Multer. Steve Multer is a trusted corporate storytelling face and voice for the world's most powerful and influential brands. Over the past 25 years, he's crafted and delivered more than 20,000 talks at 800 plus events for corporations, including Cisco Systems, Splunk, Fujifilm, HP, Siemens, Panasonic, Xerox, and dozens more. As a trusted speaker, coach, and vocal evangelist for better corporate storytelling, Steve supports thousands of C-suite executives, keynotes, and thought leaders, engineers, developers, and marketing professionals to improve presentation content and increase communication success. Now, remember the clips of Steve pulled from the original Marketing Smarts podcast episode. And if you want to listen to the full interview with Steve Multer and myself, make sure to tune into the Marketing Smarts podcast. Link to the full show will be in the description below after the live show ends. Now, in this episode, again, I'm talking with Steve about 3 pillars of winning communication: value, passion, and connection. To get you started today, I wanted to dive into the connection part of the conversation, because I think it is highly important. So get your notepads ready, because this clip has a ton of value for you to use in your communication and corporate storytelling. No, really, get the iPad, the pen, the paper, the pencil, the spray paint, the chalk, whatever you're going to write with. Get it ready.
Okay, so this is actually my favorite one to talk about, because as you said a moment ago, and rightly so, this one gets deep, right? So I always connection to structure. All right, we learn when it comes to any type of storytelling, whatever it happens to be, again, a one-on-one personal communication, or something that is very business related where you're trying to move product, or you're trying to create some sort of an association between corporations. Anything that is connection-based begins and ends with good structure. Your audience, 1 person or 1,000 people, they have to follow the track of what you're after. What are you trying to accomplish within this interaction? Bad structure in communication creates confusion, and it creates disconnection. People don't follow bad structure. They don't know where to go. What are we doing here? What is the point? Why am I investing my time, my interest? We are not seeing eye to eye with one another. We're not speaking on the same level. Good structure is going to help. Good structure, in my view, always begins with an initial clarity that puts the people above the content. Human first, right? We've talked about it again and again, and it's such an important part of what you do. So, as a little sidebar to that, there are 3 levels of information incorporation that I think are so vital to create good connection. And it's the way all of us, no matter who we are, hear and process data as it onboards. So right now, the estimate, I don't know that anybody can scientifically prove it, but the estimate is every single one of us, you, George, me, Steve, whoever you happen to look at, whether it's Joe Biden or whether it's Jamie Dimon or whoever it happens to be, no matter what level of power, control, money, association, level, authority you happen to have, we all process information on 3 levels. First, we process it on a human level. Number 1. As any piece of data stimulus arrives, of the 10,000 pieces of stimuli per day that hit us, we immediately bin that content into high value, medium value, low value, or no value. And almost all of it goes directly to low value and no value because we just can't incorporate that much data. We first process on a human level. Does this appeal to me on a moral level? On a subconscious level? Do I like what I'm hearing? Do I like the person delivering the information to me? What is my emotional gut initial response? And if it's good, then we will move to the next level. If not, it gets thrown out and we never hear anything more, which unfortunately is what most B2B marketing is. Go straight to the low value, no value bins. Second, we hear and process information as consumers. Notice we're not at employees yet. Consumers second. Would I buy this? Meaning, would I buy it with my money? Would I buy it with my time? Would I buy it with my personal investment? Do I prioritize it over the other elements and aspects in my life to the point that I would create an investment in this idea, concept, capability, solution, service, product? If it then makes it past that level, then we go to number 3, which is the flip side of what most marketing does. Now, on level 3, we process as employees, which means as corporations. And guess what almost all B2B marketing is? Take that model, flip it upside down. Begin by processing or by selling or communicating with the company, then go to the consumer, and then put the human last. Every B2B marketer should start flipping that on its head. If you want to create connection with your audience, you begin by speaking to them on a human level. Then if you get through that process, you go to the consumer level. Third is where you speak to them as a company, a corporation, or an employee. And I'm telling you, if you remember one key takeaway from our conversation today for everybody who's listening in, let it be that one. Start with the human to create the connection first before you move to content, data, support, or arguments. Those are all secondary, but we all learned in business school to go the other way around. Again, it's Simon Sinek, right? It's the golden circle. It's start with why. It's his concept. It's just another way of saying it, which has been said again and again and again throughout business history. You can go back to Henry Ford and find the same concepts. But if you start with, here is what we do, here's how we do it, and here's why we do it, you're marketing wrong. You start with the why, then you go to the how. The what is last.
So good, and we'll get back to that clip and some thoughts here in a second, but I have to say, yes, Susan, Marvel, thank you. I'm always trying to be a superhero and represent the superheroes, but I had to laugh because only writing with spray paint, Susan, I need to see your office, your desk, wherever it is that you're jotting down your notes that you only write with spray paint. I love it, love it. And then Kara, yes, well, it's being kind of done live on LinkedIn. It should live there, but worst case scenario, head over to our YouTube channel. They live there. We have an entire Marketing Smarts Live playlist that you can get in touch with and leverage over there. The 47, as of today, 47 shows you can check out. Now, pertaining to that clip with Steve, what do you need to change after listening to that last clip? Are you starting with the humans in your business? What can you do to create more connection moving forward? Put that answer to that in the chat pane or let me know on Twitter using the hashtag MPB2B. And of course, tag me using @GeorgeB. I will respond. Trust me. We'll get back to Steve Multer and his thoughts on the 3 pillars of winning communication: value, passion, and connection. But first, Very important question. I have to ask, are you part of the Marketing Profs community yet? If not, become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. Now it's time for one of my favorite sections in the B2B news, where we talk about breaking B2B news or really important tips we find on the Google News tab related to you and your B2B business or B2B marketing. This week, the title is Conversational Marketing, a guide to a key B2B GTM. It's a lot of letters in that one, I'm going to say, but it's a GTM strategy by Stephanie Travato. Learn how conversational marketing improves customer engagement, accelerates sales cycles, and builds relationship with B2B buyers. Did you know that 91% of business buyers and 86% of consumers consider the company's experience as important as its products and services? If your B2B go-to-market strategy doesn't prioritize delivering a personalized and engaging experience for your audience, you could be missing out on potential customers and growth opportunities. Fortunately, conversational marketing can help you create the kind of experience that modern buyers expect. This article is a guide to conversational marketing and why it should be a key component of your B2B go-to-market strategy. To read this article, the rest of it, check out the link below when the live show is over. That's right. All the right links in all the right places at just the right time. So let's get back to Steve Multer and his Marketing Smarts podcast episode. In this next section, I wanted to dive into how we can start to communicate better with the framework that Steve was sharing. Steve calls this onboarding better communication. Again, you need to have a pen, pencil, or something to write with here. You'll have some notes here. Trust me, onboarding communication.
That is such a great question and beautifully put. So first of all, when I wrote this book, just as a slight sidebar, the reason that I waited as long as I did, I've been doing this now for 25, 26 years. And what I do is I support some of the world's largest corporations. I've been a leading face and voice for Cisco since 1997. I've got 20 some odd years invested in speaking for and supporting brands like IBM and Microsoft and Panasonic and Fujifilm and Siemens and Bayer and a lot of massive corporations. So what I have to do is I go in the door and I have to break down where their marketing strategy has been up until this point. And I have to say what needs to alter in order to make those value, passion, connection points. And the only way that we're going to do that is by fundamentally giving people a new way to think about it. The reason that I wrote the book the way that I did is I didn't want to just be informational. I wanted to also say, and here is how you do it. And literally every page giving you here's how you might have been doing it, and here's how you could do it differently, and show people exactly what to do. So let's talk about the onboarding here, right? I call it onboarding better communication because it is almost like learning a new skill. Salespeople, marketers, they're very, very good at what they do. So nothing here is to put down all the sales strategy skills and the marketing development capabilities and the customer connection points that great marketers and salespeople in your audience have had for years. You're excellent at it. Think like the Olympian. You work with a coach, you work with a trainer to get that much better, to add a couple extra tools to your tool belt, to start to think differently about how you win, to engage your customer even better and up-level your success even further. So let's talk about it from this connection point. Opening with connection. What can you do right out of the gate? Well, like I said, start with structure. Begin by not talking about you, by not talking about your product, by not talking about your company. Do not give me proof points of how excellent you are, how long you've been around, how much market share you command, the awards that you've won. Why? Because those are all self-centered. Even if they're accurate, even if you really do build the best product on the market, your audience doesn't care about that at this point. What do they care about? Themselves. Not because they're selfish, but because of the 10,000 bits of stimuli and the binning that we talked about a moment ago. That means you've got to hit them where they live first. Then, once you've established that trust, that credibility, that foundational authority that makes them want to be in the room with you and listen to what you have to say, now you get to go to all of the statistical data to back it up. But initially, the connection has to begin with being personal. So how do you do it? Well, Again, get to know your audience. We talked about that earlier. Who am I speaking with? What makes them tick? What do they care about most? Let me open by speaking about that. Let me try to find parallels between what they find vital and what I find vital so that I can create that human-to-human interaction between us long before I ever get to the meat of why we're here. Let me tell a story. Let me share something personally from within my life, positive or negative. I'm a big fan of negative stories, of talking about where I've failed, where I screwed up something so badly. Why? Because it makes me human. It makes me fallible, just like them. It proves I have messed up so many times. One of the things I would love to help you do today is not make the same error that I did. Let me tell you about that error and how I could have done a whole lot better and will do better in the future. And you can as well. Quotes. I love quotes, provided a quote reveals something about you. Why do you choose certain quotes? One of my big ones as a corporate storyteller is Carl Bühner. Everybody always misattributes the quote to Maya Angelou, although she did love it, which is, they may not remember what you told them, but they will always remember how you made them feel. If you can make someone feel something during an interaction, whether this is B2B marketing, whether this is strategy, whether this is sales, or just one-on-one communication, make them feel something, they will remember you and your content long after the conversation ends. When I use that quote, it not only talks about the genius of Carl Bühner, it tells the audience a little something about me and what I find most important. If I open with money, if I open with data, if I open with metrics, the person I'm speaking with says, that's what's most important to Steve. Steve is about the numbers. He's about the bottom line. He's about the sale. He's about the marketing. If I open with something very human and very personal, they say, Steve is about the individual. He's about communicating with the person before communicating about the product. These are all initial ways that you can onboard better winning communication. They're all strategies to get you in the door and to start by talking about the other person instead of about yourself or your company.
Woo-wee. Are you creating human-to-human connections? Are you doing human-to-human communication? Are you making the humans feel something? We'll get back to Steve Multer in a few minutes, but first it's time for some dope B2B learnings from the vault of Marketing Profs articles. That's right, it's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out two pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article number 1 this week is Neuroscience and Marketing Storytelling. Context is Everything by Luke Benyon. I hope I said that. It's either Luce or Luke. I'm sorry. Hey, it is what it is, but it isn't. Hopefully I meet you and you can tell me exactly how it is. I digress. Our brains are wired to react to stories, and storytelling explains neuroscience Allie Jennings. In this video of the context, that's right, there's a video on the page, is Everything series interviews. Jennings explains how the brain responds to various elements of stories. Now, notice we're talking about storytelling with Steve, elements of stories in article number 1. You see what I do here. For example, when a story establishes stress, our brains release cortisol, attracting us to the story. When the stress is over, the story is resolved, we then exude dopamine, which rewards us. Jennings explains how this powerful combination of hormones is just linked to storytelling and that marketers can capitalize on it if we think about it. Article number 2, by the way, the link will be in the description below for article number 1. Article number 2 this week, 4 facets of strategic, any guesses? Storytelling by Bill Baker. Every so often, a traditionally non-business world finds its way into the business world, fueled by an admirable desire to find new ways to think about old challenges. Storytelling has become one of those words, and through storytelling has been around, though storytelling has been around since early hunters first gestured to each other in front of a fire. Only recently has the corporate community recognized the potency of using storytelling strategically to position brands, transform businesses, and engage and align employees. As storytelling becomes part of the corporate lexicon, it runs the risk, as do all such terms that come into fashion, of being overused and misappropriated. The sheer familiarity of storytelling then can work against the best intentions of those trying to use it, because people apply the terms to everything without really understanding what differentiates storytelling as a communication strategy and makes it tick. The following are 4 distinguishing facets of strategic storytelling that will help you better understand what it is and what it's not, what it does, and how it works. But guess what? I'm not going to share those 4 because they're in the link in the description. Want to keep learning more? If so, check out the links in the description below after the live show to get access to both amazing Marketing Profs articles to help your business grow. All right, back to Steve. Let's dive back into this conversation about the 3 pillars of winning communication. If you remember what they are: value, passion, and connection. In this next section, I wanted to dig into the hurdles that might happen around this conversation. Steve's answer: you might be surprised, or maybe you won't be.
You ready for this? One word for you: expertise. Expertise, for most marketers, most strategists, most salespeople, is not your friend. It is potentially your enemy. It's great to have experience. Experience is vital. The more time you spend in the field, the more you get to understand how interactions work. You understand your customer. You understand how to talk about your product. What it also does is it tends to put blinders on. I'm already good at what I do. Therefore, either nobody knows this better than me, or I don't really need any help. I'm already very successful. I'm the top sales representative of the company. You start to speak into a vacuum. It becomes, I have a set of things that I always talk about, and these are my go-tos, and wherever I go and whoever I speak with, I'm roughly going to tell the same story to everybody, no matter what their level of expertise is, no matter what their knowledge is. I'm going to speak the way I'm comfortable with speaking. This is what expertise can do, and that's what creates an obstacle to greater communication. The best communication happens when, first of all, you begin by assuming the lowest common denominator. If I have a concept or a product to sell, I need to speak to my audience first, as though there is one person standing over in the corner of the room who just joined the company 2 months ago and hasn't learned about all of this yet. They need some extra support. I can't assume that they're an expert right out of the gate. At the same time, I've got another person sitting next to them who I've already got a 15-year existing relationship with, and they need to know what I'm going to do for them next. Good communication allows me to speak to both of those individuals and make sure they are both included in the conversation. Nobody is excluded. I'm not talking above anybody or below anybody. I'm looking at the room, reading the space, and what are we back to? Pillar number 1, create value for everyone. And most marketing forgets the real value. They're too busy touting their product and too busy telling everybody how great they are at what they do. And the reality is, it doesn't win business, because all of your competitors have their arguments, their KPIs, their metrics for why they actually are the best at what they do in the sector. And so do their competitors. And when you compete on that level, nobody wins. 4 kinds of toilet paper lined up on the shelf, whether you're going to pick your Charmin or you're going to pick your Ultra or you're going to pick your, look, I don't even know who I'm pulling out. Somebody's going to get a Cottonelle, Soft, or who are the Bears? Who are the Bears? Are the Bears Charmin? I think the Bears are Charmin. I just remember Mr. Whipple talked about dating ourselves. I know. So 4 different toilet papers lined up. Everybody can say that their toilet paper is the best. If you don't create an emotional connection to that particular brand, to that particular product, everybody's just going to go based on price point. Fine, I'll buy the cheapest, or I'll buy the one that I believe to be the softest. Meanwhile, the one next door to you, they're claiming to be the softest. It's a personal preference, but the key word there, personal, right? Don't let your expertise get in the way of understanding that really reaching out to your marketplace, especially in B2B, where it is human to human. We're not talking C2C. We're not even talking B2C here at this point, right? We are absolutely talking human to human. Personalize it. Create emotion around it, as you just said a moment ago, George. That is where your success really lies.
The toilet paper with the bears. Maybe I should have Googled that. Is it Cottonelle? Who knows? Anyway, you're watching this and you're like, I know the toilet paper with the bears. Put it in the comments or the chat pane, wherever you're at. I'll get a giggle out of it. It'll be fun. People will be like, what is that comment about? Anyway, are you sharing the same talk tracks no matter where they are in their journey? Or is your communication designed to include everyone and create value for everyone? I'll let that sink in for just a few seconds because it might be a thing that you want to tweak. Now, we're going to get some words of wisdom for Steve Multer here in a few minutes, but right now it's time to turn the spotlight on you, the Marketing Profs community. Yep, time for From the hashtag MPB2B community. We searched far and wide in the hashtag MPB2B universe to find amazing information and conversations to bring to you, the masses. So first, make sure you're using the hashtag, and second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then we'll spotlight you or your crew on the show. This week, it's actually Marketing Profs. Hey, it's it's Marketing Profs. Actually, more specifically, it's Alan Wise. And Alan Wise is doing a workshop. There is a nice video you can watch on the post. There's a link, of course. The post goes a little something like this. To stand out in a sea of copycat businesses, you need strategic positioning. But how do you find or create that positioning? With market research and multi-level competitor analysis, not sure where to begin? Then I invite you to join me, CEO of Marketing Profs, Alan Wise, for a workshop in October. Marketing strategy, benefits, relationships, competitors. In this full-day event, you'll dig deeper into your marketing, analyze competitors with a 5-step process, and fortify your business unique position. Whether you're a marketing strategy beginner or a seasoned expert, this workshop will give you inspiration, ideas, and tactics to create great positioning right away. But this workshop isn't available to everyone. It's exclusive to all access pass holders of B2B Forum in Boston, October 4th. Guess what? You still got time. Still got time. You can see me there. I'll be there. For more details about this workshop and the other exciting events at B2B Forum, check out the program now. And hurry, ticket prices rise at midnight on the 26th. There's a link there. And of course, there's some hashtags. Hashtag MPB2B, hashtag marketing, hashtag B2B, hashtag B2B marketing. But you need to check out the description, click that link, check out the video, check out the post, and learn more. And hopefully, I'll see you at the B2B Forum. Marketing Smarts viewers, I have to ask, are you going to be next to get the spotlight? Remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, and get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. Pro tip, it won't hurt if you tag me in your post as well. I'm at George B. Thomas on LinkedIn and Twitter, and Mr. George B. Thomas on Facebook. And if you do something on Facebook, you'll for sure make this show, because there's not a lot of hashtag MPB2Being happening on the Book of Faces. Okay, let's kick it back to Steve Multer and some words of wisdom around this topic of the 3 pillars of winning communication: value, passion, and connection. Here is what Steve Multer wanted to leave us with as far as some words of wisdom.
All right, so anybody who has ever thought about marketing, always, always, always market in the voice of your customer and never in the voice of your organization. And if you don't know the difference, it means you need to get to know your customer better and ask yourself what if questions. What if questions are the best. Blue sky thinking. Open it up. No limitations. What if my customer was able to do this? What if my customer was able to achieve this level of benefit? What if we were able to provide this thing that we can't afford and that we don't know how to build, but what if we could build it and deliver it and offer it to our marketplace? What if thinking opens up possibilities and allows you to start thinking about what your customer wants from you, what they really want from you, not what your shareholders want, not what your bottom line wants, not what your sales team or your supply chain wants. Think about your customer. The more you do that and put the focus on them, the more likely you are to see remarkable percentage growth and scale, the likes of which you haven't seen before.
The likes that you haven't seen before. I have some questions here in a second, but inquiring minds wanted to know. And so, yes, Charmin. Sue's hand says Charmin, which, by the way, great use of emojis. I'm just going to throw that out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you asking what if questions like Steve mentioned? Did you perhaps write down the ones that Steve used as a starting point? Should you hit that rewind button after this live is over, or should you head to the full podcast episode and keep learning more? I'll let you decide. My vote would be for a yes, but I'll let you decide. Have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know. Use that hashtag MPB2B on whatever platform you are joining us on. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Time flies when you're having fun. And boy, do I have fun on these shows. Head to the description below. Click on the link to that full Marketing Smarts podcast with Steve Multer and keep learning more about the 3 pillars of winning communication: value, passion, and connection. Remember, these were just a few clips, slivers from the original Marketing Smarts podcast interview. If you got value from today's show, hit that like, better yet, share it with a friend or coworker, to hopefully they're one and the same maybe. To keep learning more, hit subscribe or watch additional Marketing Profs videos on your favorite social channel, or head over to our YouTube channel if you're not there yet. Or you can go tune into the original Marketing Smarts podcast episode on whatever your favorite podcast app is. Don't forget to become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. And as always, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts Live show next week.